Welcome back, you Daniacs. We're back from Great Dane Care. If you're like us, you've been having a lot of fun with the summertime and enjoying plenty of outdoor activities. But what you've also probably noticed, if you didn't already know, is that Great Danes are not the best when it comes to handling very high temperatures. So in today's video, we'll be talking about tips to safely enjoy the outdoors and hot weather with your Great Dane, as well as signs that they may be overheating. So with that, before we jump in, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to our channel down below so that way you don't miss out on any future videos like this one. Now, before jumping into our top tips here for ways to safely enjoy the summer fun here, it's worth also calling out, the actual signs that your Great Dane is overheating and it's time for some reprieve. Now, if you notice that they are panting very heavily continuously, if you notice that they look a little bit disoriented or they're kind of, wandering listlessly in circles, if they have excessive drool, and I mean truly excessive drool even for your Great Dane, if they're showing signs of diarrhea, or they actually, literally fall over, these are all indicators that your Great Dane is probably too hot and needs to get a break from the sun. So if you notice any of these, take some immediate action to kind of get them out of the sun, get them some cool water, access to shade, just anything to really get them a break from the really high heat conditions before it does become an emergency that may even require veterinary emergency care. But with that out of the way, hopefully we never get to that point because we're going to follow these tips to make sure that our Great Dane is able to safely enjoy the outdoors even on the hottest of days with us. Now, first up, in terms of ways to enjoy the outdoors and summer heat with your Great Dane, and we talked a little bit about this during our video about safety for walking, is that during these hot days, knowing that the middle of the day is by far the hottest parts, if you want to get outside, enjoy some exercise or get outdoors with your Great Dane, doing so earlier in the morning or late at night when the temperatures are much cooler and there's far less direct sunlight. You may even have the luckiness to experience some clouds to give you some cover there. That's a great time to get out there, get their exercise, get their activity in, and just do so in a time period when it's just not as hot compared to the rest of the day. Now, if you are going to be outside during these hotter parts of the day, knowing that the direct sunlight really amplifies, how fast or how quickly that they heat up, making sure that they have an area to access shade. So it could be shade underneath a tree, it could be underneath an awning or a back patio. Just getting them out of direct sunlight can make a huge difference in allowing them to kind of enjoy the outdoors without getting quite so hot. Now, another really important tip, not just to make sure that they stay hydrated, but also as a way to cool down, is to ensure that they always have fresh, cool water available to drink. Now, obviously, drinking water helps them, stay hydrated and avoids dehydration and the other ill effects that come with that. But also the simple act of just drinking cool, fresh liquids will also help them cool down as well. So it's just a great way to always make sure they've got some, cool water outside. You can even toss in a few ice cubes as a way to not only keep it cool, but let them have fun kind of playing around, shooting on the ice cubes as well. Instead of just, no water at all, that would obviously be not good. Or if the water's so hot that they don't want to drink it, then that doesn't really do a whole lot of good either. So making sure that you've got that cool, fresh water available for them to enjoy is another great option as well. Now, on the topic of water, knowing that water has a great evaporative cooling effect where as they drink it or perhaps as their fur actually gets wet and it dries, that's actually a great way to also help their body cool off. So if you've got one of the kiddie pools or perhaps a sprinkler that kind of goes back and forth, it's a great option to let your Great Dane kind of hang out in the water or get wet as a way to, quite literally drench themselves down and just cool off. Many dogs aren't always as comfortable when it comes to sprinklers, but some have a blast with it. They like kind of biting at the water as it shoots out, whereas others just kind of like to hang out in a little kiddie pool that's filled up. Now, just like the drinking water, obviously, we don't want to let this sit out for, days or get really, really hot, because then it doesn't really do a whole lot of good in terms of cooling them off. So, replenishing this occasionally with some water out of the hose is just a great way to let them kind of hang out and stay cool in these summer times. Now, whether your Great Dane's going to be outside, either in these morning or late evening hours, or even during the middle of the day, when it comes to really hot temperatures, the other obvious thing here, much as you would experience being outside on your own, is that the amount of time you spend out there is going to only make the heat feel worse and worse. So don't leave them outside for hours at a time, and certainly not unattended. Keep the sessions outside shorter, so 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes if it's really hot. Try to keep the sessions shorter so that way they have a chance to, take a break, perhaps go inside, and then come back out later. You don't have to spend a couple hours at a time as a way to kind of let them get that outdoor activity and exercise. And this applies to not just leaving them, outside unattended for long periods, but also, if you're taking them out to run errands, just like your kids, do not leave them in the car. Cars heat up so fast. You may think that a trip will only take a couple minutes to run to the store, and grab some milk or grab a, some other kind of grocery, but we always know that there will be holdups, there will be delays, and those cars with those windows turn them into a sauna that just heats up very quickly to over 120 plus degrees Fahrenheit. So don't make the mistake. I know that we all love our Great Danes. We wouldn't do it intentionally, but just don't even put yourself in the situation where you've got to be out running an errand with them in the car and not have the option of taking them inside. If that scenario, it's better just to leave them at home, let them hang out, and you can reunite when you get back home and have some fun then. Now, last but not least, and I've kind of already hinted this, but as we kind of look at shortening the time durations that we spend outside, try to keep these short. If you notice your Great Dane overheating, they're starting to pant really heavily. Obviously, if you've already given them shade, you've given them water, you've tried these different techniques, if they still aren't cooling down, it's just time to go in. We all need a break from the sun at some point, and the same applies to our Great Danes here, who we don't want to overheat or have heat exhaustion or some kind of other issue like that. So, if they appear overheated, just go inside, let them cool down for a while. And if you want to go back out later, that's completely fine. Or perhaps wait until the, later in the evening or the next morning when it's a lot cooler. It's going to be a far better approach than just trying to stay out there for hours on end. So that really wraps up kind of the key things that we think about in terms of summer safety and being out in the sun and having fun with our family and our Great Dane. But if you have your own recommendations or tips that you found that really help your Great Dane stay cool in these warm summer months, please go ahead and share it down in the comments below so that way the whole community can benefit from it. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and until next time, stay Daney, my friends.